Hello and welcome to Module 8. We will be talking today all about hormones. Hormones are a big topic for women because they can significantly influence the quality of our life, and some negative health symptoms, for instance, heavy periods or hot flashes, sleep and mood disturbances can all be influenced by our hormone balancing. The main hormone responsible for this is estrogen. It is extremely important in childbirth, in maintaining bone health, in healthy cholesterol levels. So it is an important hormone, but it's easy to become out of balance. The main problems result from what's called estrogen dominance. It can either be excess estrogen relative to normal progesterone, or it can be inadequate progesterone with normal estrogen. The important thing is the balance between the two. Secondly, if we have poor estrogen metabolism through the liver, there are 3 pathways through the liver. One of them produces healthy estrogen metabolites, and the other 2 produce unhealthy estrogen metabolites that can encourage symptoms of hormone imbalance. It is the health of our diet, our stress levels, our sleep, our liver health that all determine which pathways are used for estrogen metabolism. To give you a perspective on your hormones, have a look in the handout on the chart that shows how all the steroid hormones are made. They all come from the precursor cholesterol. So have a look at that. The main issue we'll be talking about with respect to hormone balance in this module is estrogen dominance. This is the most common problem for women throughout the perimenopause timeframe. We'll also talk a little bit about low estrogen levels as you get closer to menopause as well. The main symptoms of estrogen dominance are mood swings, heavy periods, brain fog, trouble sleeping, PMS, water retention, weight gain. Those are symptoms that your hormones are out of balance. So if those things are impacting your life, you definitely want to take some action on the items that we discuss throughout this module. Again, as I mentioned, declining estrogen has slightly different symptoms. There's less that we can do about that. Naturally, our estrogen and our testosterone will be lowered as we get into menopause. Those symptoms are hot flashes, vaginal dryness, urinary incontinence, UTIs, but also some mood swings. There'll be dizziness, headaches. Those are those types of symptoms. So slightly different. But really what we'll talk about in this module is estrogen dominance and resolving that and balancing our hormones, because that is really something that we can control, and there's things that we can do about that. So throughout your handout, have a look there. To balance your hormones, there are 4 main things that I have listed there. One is diet and digestion. That comes back to module 4. When we talked all about digestion there, and when you have a poor balance of microbiome, then your body is less able to metabolize the excess estrogen and get rid of it. So if that is one area that you need to work on, make sure you keep going back to module 4 and make sure your digestion is working well. The second area I talk about in the handout is your exposures to xenoestrogens. So xenoestrogens are also endocrine mimicking chemicals, and they can cause problems of excess estrogen. When the xenoestrogens attach to estrogen receptors in the body, that creates those significant symptoms of estrogen dominance. They can come from your body care products, from chemicals in your food, from your water, from household products, even from receipts and holding on to receipts. So you want to make sure you wash your hands after you've handled any receipts. That seems small, but it's one little thing that you can be doing. The main action items in this module all relate to reducing your exposures to xenoestrogens. The third area is excess body fat, because particularly the excess fat around your midsection is metabolically active and it can increase the circulating estrogen in your body. So you want to, again, go back through modules 1 through 5 and work so that you are working towards maintaining a healthy body weight. Finally, stress. Stress seems to relate to everything, and estrogen dominance is no different. So when we are producing a lot of cortisol because we are stressed, our adrenal glands cannot produce sufficient progesterone, because they also produce progesterone, but they tend to produce cortisol preferentially over progesterone when you are stressed. So that lower level of progesterone results in imbalance in your hormones and estrogen dominant symptoms, even if the estrogen levels themselves are the right level. So again, a diminished amount of progesterone can also result in estrogen dominance. It's important to note here that progesterone itself is an anti-anxiety agent. So when you don't have enough of it, you can have symptoms of anxiety, symptoms of depression. And so if this is something that's of concern to you, then make sure you go over that part of the handout in greater detail and work on your stress management. Go back to module 6 and tackle the action items there again. Other conditions that can result from imbalanced hormones are fibroids, osteoporosis, osteopenia, arthritis. These are all conditions that can result from extended periods of hormone imbalance. So watch out for those symptoms, because working on your hormone imbalance can also improve them as well. So again, the action items that we have, number 1 is to identify your sources of xenoestrogens, just partly so that you can start to replace some of those chemicals and some of those sources with alternatives. Second is to buy organic foods, particularly the foods on the Dirty Dozen list, which I mentioned in the handout. And also, please take note that packaged goods, even though they don't look like produce, so we don't think of them as having pesticide residues, they definitely can contain pesticide residues in those boxes and bags and cans. Using water filters. We get a lot of hormones in our water system because of all of the synthetic hormones that people are taking and excreting, and they end up in our water system. So you want a good water filter for that, for the fluoride, and potentially also excess chlorine that may still be in your water from the water treatment. So these are all things that water filters can handle, as well as heavy metals. So going to your worksheet, there's a spot for you to fill out your actions, what actions you're going to take in each of those areas. And as well, there are some additional reading resources, some information on some superfoods. Maca, for instance, is a great hormone balancing superfood. You can add it to smoothies. Phytoestrogen foods, there's a great list there of phytoestrogens. And a quick explanation of what they are is they are hormone balancers. They're hormone modulators. So they will attach to the estrogen receptors. And if your estrogen is low, they will help to boost them. And if your estrogen is high, it will prevent those xenoestrogens from taking hold and having a great impact of increasing your estrogen. So in other words, they'll help to keep the estrogen down. So they can help to increase or decrease your estrogen as needed. So those are great foods to have in your diet. Selenium also helps your liver metabolize estrogen, and zinc is another mineral that is great for estrogen, and there's a quick little test to determine whether your levels are adequate in the worksheet. Finally, there's a few other supplements that I recommend. These are things that we can talk about on your personal call, or you can ask about them in the group. DIM is one. It comes from cruciferous vegetables. So eating cruciferous vegetables are great, but if you need a more therapeutic dose, or if your body is having trouble converting the indole 3-carbinol, which comes from the cruciferous vegetables, into the active form of DIM, then a supplement may be necessary. And there are some other herbals mentioned that can help with specific things like hot flashes. So have a look at those herbals. Ask about them in the group or on your personal call. So finally, the meal plan for this week. There's a meal plan this week. There's a hormone balancing meal plan that includes things like maca in it. It includes cruciferous vegetables, of course. That'll be a source of your indole 3-carbinols. Your omegas are in there. Iodine, there's a great source of that. Fiber, probiotics, and of course, it's all blood sugar balancing. So enjoy the meal plan this week. Enjoy the materials. Have a great week. And ask questions as you need to in the group and book your calls. Take care. I will see you soon.